day, blue sky, not too hot, not too cold. Really lovely, just like a summer day at home in Cape Town. You know, when you have the breeze coming off the ocean. And we were all outside having breakfast on the stoop when there was this explosion down the garden, and the garden gate came flying up the lawn. You should have seen it, man. Solid oak.
Well, no doubt, Mr. Rue, there was a general alarm.
Well, you can say that again.
And did you, Mr. Rue, after you had collected yourself, go down to the garden wall and look outside into the road?
I did.
And what did you see?
The black, the Avambo.
Was he wounded?
Well, I should say that he'd been holding a bomb near his belly when it went off. He was all pulped around the middle. He was lying in his own guts.
Was he already dead?
No, he died later, after they'd taken him away.
I see. Now, may he be shown Exhibit 1, please? Mr. Rue, would you please look at that photograph? Now, is that a photograph of the wounded man as you saw him lying in the road?
Yeah, this is how he was.
At Fulchester Crown Court, a conspiracy trial has just begun. 2 students in the university, David Paget and Joshua Smith, are charged with conspiring together and with another student to cause an explosion with intent to injure a South African family who were temporarily staying with relatives in Fulchester. The other student was killed when the bomb went off prematurely. There is also a charge of unlawful possession of explosives. The jury in this trial has been selected from members of the public, whose names appeared on the electoral register and who are eligible for jury service.
Was the wounded man, the African, conscious?
Yeah, he was at first.
Yes. Now, whilst you were waiting for the police, did he say anything to you?
Objection.
Stand up if you wish to address me, Mr. Smith.
The question is directed to hearsay.
It is, Mr. Smith. But if you had been listening earlier, you would recall that your co-defendants counsel, Mr. Lee, had already taken the point and I ruled against it. For your benefit, since you have chosen to defend yourself, I will give my reasons again. It is a statement accompanying and explaining a relevant event, and as such is admissible as an exception to the hearsay rule. Is that clear?
Okay. But I want a note of my objection for the record.
Certainly, I will make a note. Yes, please carry on, Mr.
Thank you, my lord. Mr. Rue, will you now please tell us if the injured man said anything to you?
Yeah, he said, I missed you, Boer, but you won't escape when Henrik Witbooi comes. I said, I don't know anybody by that name. Why should he want to harm me? And he said, don't you know?
And was that all?
Yeah, he stopped talking after that.
I see. Now, I believe that in due course an ambulance arrived and the man was lifted into it.
Yeah.
Did something happen as he was lifted in?
Yeah, some things fell out of his clothes.
What things?
Checkbook, I think, some photographs, a few scraps of paper.
Yes, well, now, may he be shown Exhibits 2 and 3, please? That's right. Now, Mr. Rue, are those the photographs?
Yes, these are them.
Members of the jury, will you please look at your copies?
You don't know who these people are?
Oh, bushmen, I suppose. Hunters. They're very old photographs.
My lord, I must inform you that it was established that the dead man was, in fact, a black African student studying at Fulchester University. And the significance of the photographs is that identical funds were found in the room of Paget at the hostel where both he and the dead student lived. I think I should perhaps add that they had separate rooms. They did not share.
Thank you.
Now, to return to the injured man, Mr. Rue, had you ever seen him before?
You mean the Swapo kid?
Yes, the dead student.
You referred to him as the Swapo kid. By Swapo, you refer to the Southwest Africa People's Organization?
Yes, my lord.
My lord, that is a movement for the liberation of Southwest Africa, which is at present governed by South Africa, your home country.
So-called liberation movements, like all these movements at the present time, they are promoted by the communists.
Yes, quite. But I repeat, had you ever seen the dead man before?
Not as far as I know.
Yes, and you had only come to Fulchester 5 days before to stay temporarily with your sister-in-law.
Yeah.
And somehow this African had learnt, firstly, that you were South African, and secondly, the address at which you and your family were staying.
Yeah.
I see. Now, have you ever seen either of these 2 men before?
Not the white. The black was on the train we took to Fulchester.
I see. Well, now, tell us about that. That would be on Monday, the 30th of August, when you were travelling by train from London to Fulchester with your wife, your daughter, and your mother.
That's correct.
When did you leave Cape Town?
We left in June.
After the recent spate of riots had begun.
Yeah.
Thank you, my lord. What happened on the train?
Well, we left the compartment to go to have lunch in the restaurant car. We truly didn't suppose that anybody would move in while we were away. I left the ladies having coffee. I didn't want to leave the luggage too long, you know.
No, and when you did get back to the compartment?
He was there.
Did he say anything?
Yeah, he said, "Hi there, man." I think I gave him a nod.
I see. Now, you thought, did you not, that he was, in fact, a West Indian?
Yeah, I thought he was probably an entertainer or something.
Yes, well, just tell me this. Did you object to the accused Smith being in the compartment?
I did not.
But it is against the law in South Africa, is it not, for blacks to travel on the same trains as you?
Well, there are black trains only, but there are also mixed trains, only the coaches are divided, non-whites at the back, the whites at the front. But the law is different over here, and I respect that.
Yes. You were saying, Mr. Latimer.
Thank you, my lord. Now, I think at some stage your wife, your daughter, and your mother came back to the compartment. Now, did something then happen?
Yeah, well, as far as I'm concerned, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. But my mother is a very old lady, very set in her ways.
Yes, now she comes from South Africa, does she not?
She's like a walking history of the Boer nation. She was born in one of your concentration camps.
Your mother and daughter are no longer in this country.
No, they've gone home. The police said it would not be necessary for them to stay.
Yes, well, Mr. Ruth, just tell us what happened.
Well, when Ma came back, she saw him over there and she wouldn't come in and sit down. She said she wouldn't sit down with a Kaffir. Well, I said that he wasn't a Kaffir, he was a West Indian, which is what I believed. And that the law was different over here and we must respect the law.
Yes, and in what language did this conversation take place?
In Afrikaans.
Yes, then what?
Well, then Ma said we ought to check to see if he had a dom pass.
Yes, well, Mr. Ruth, I think this will require some explanation. Members of the jury, as I am sure you will know, it is the policy of the South African government to provide for the separate development of the various races in South Africa.
Yes, indeed. Apartheid is Afrikaans for separateness. It is a recognition that God has created different peoples, each with their own dignity, worth, and culture, which should be kept pure. It's in the Bible. When the nations gave the world their inheritance, when he divided the sons of man, he fixed their bounds according to the numbers of the sons of God. It's Deuteronomy. Animals don't interbreed, nor should we. It is contrary to God's will.
Yes, quite, Mr. Ruth. And so the Africans are confined residentially to the homelands and to the townships like Soweto.
Yeah, but you mustn't be misled by what you read over here. I mean, Soweto is not a ghetto. It's like Paris compared to some of the places the blacks live in the African states. I mean, they have all the amenities, swimming pools, sports grounds, golf clubs, you name it, they got it.
Yes, but if, for example, a black man wishes to leave his area in order to go and work in a white area, he has to obtain permission and a pass.
Yeah, don't pass book.
Yes. And is this pass law unpopular with the Africans?
Well, let's put it this way. The communists make a great fuss about it, but I think most blacks welcome the opportunity to be able to come and work in the white industry.
I see, yes. But it was to one of these passes to which your mother was referring.
Yeah, well, I tried to explain to her, but she wouldn't listen, so my daughter tried. She said, why didn't Ma come in and smell? And she'd see that he wasn't a Kaffir.
Smell?
Yeah, they have a distinct and quite characteristic smell of their own.
And this was all spoken in Afrikaans?
Yeah, but Ma wouldn't listen, so my daughter hit on the idea of going to check with the guard whether he had a first-class ticket or not, and she was just going to do that when my wife suggested we just approach him with the problem and ask him to leave. As he didn't have any luggage, it would be easier for him to go. So I did that.
In English?
Yeah.
And did Smith say anything?
Yeah. In Afrikaans, I was really surprised. It was the accent, you see. I didn't know that any of our blacks were living in the West Indies.
Really? And you then realized that he had understood everything that you and your family had been saying in Afrikaans, and that he must therefore be South African.
Yeah.
And your daughter, speaking in Afrikaans, had referred to black South Africans as having a smell, which the accused obviously must have understood.
She did say that they smelled. She also said that he didn't smell, both of which were true.
And what did Smith say?
Keke your boss. Why don't you F off? Look, boss, why don't you go and screw yourself?
What did you do?
Well, I went and got the guard. He turned out to be a black also. He took a bit of persuading, I can tell you. You people have lost all authority over your servants. I told him that I would see that he lost his job if he didn't come. I thought that would work.
I see. And did he come and speak to the accused, Smith?
Yeah, the guard told him to stop making trouble for people.
What did the accused do?
Well, he started yelling and trying to get around the guard, calling him brother. He had a copy of the Guardian newspaper, and he started reading an article which claimed that our army had been torturing blacks in Ovamboland. He was waving this around and saying that we were responsible. Well, I told the guard that this was not true. The people who were being interrogated were terrorists, people who intimidate, mutilate, and murder entire families. You cannot treat terrorists like naughty children.
That is a viewpoint which attracts a lot of sympathy so far as people who are known to be terrorists are concerned. But the problem is knowing for certain that the head you are holding underwater in a bucket is the right one, and not the head of some entirely innocent person.
Well, you can only be absolutely sure if someone admits it, can't you?
Admissions are not always true, especially if they are made under duress.
Yes, but it's the best kind of evidence you can get. These people would never admit anything. They are communist-trained terrorists from Angola. But they pretty soon admit it when our army boys give them a touch of the old bucket or the generator.
Mr. Rue, we are getting off the point. Now, did Smith eventually leave the compartment?
Yeah, the guard told him that it would be better for everyone if he left.
I see. Now, did Smith say anything as he left?
No.
I see. Now, did you see the accused Smith again during the course of your journey?
Yeah, at Fulchester Station when I was giving the taxi driver my sister-in-law's address. I turned around. There he was.
How close? Within earshot?
Oh, I should say, yeah.
I see. So you told the taxi driver the address at which you were staying, and the accused was close enough to overhear.
Yeah.
And 5 days later, the bomb went off outside the address which you had given to the taxi driver and which Smith had overheard.
Yeah.
TV lawyers.
Fair-minded man.
Any cross-examination, Mr. Lee?
No, my lord, Mr. Rue does not claim to have had any contact with my client.
Now, Mr. Smith, stand up, will you? Are there any questions you want to put to Mr. Rue? If there is any of his evidence you disagree with as being untrue, now is the time to challenge it.
Judge, would you be so kind as to ask the questions for me?
You must do it yourself.
Frankly, I don't want to talk to that guy. He makes me want to throw up.
Well, you must make up your mind.
I mean, what's the point of asking him questions? You can see how stupid he is.
Mr. Smith, I will not have that kind of behavior in my court.
Right. All I want to say is that I never even saw them when I got off that train. Distance between myself and...
Wait a moment. Is that true, Mr. Rue?
No, it's not, I told you.
Oh, he hates me, and you know why. It's because of the way his daughter was eyeing my fine black body and my curly hair, and I drew his attention to it.
That's not true! Do I have to stand here and listen to him speak like that?
Will do, Mr. Rue. Have you finished, Mr. Smith?
Your Honor, will he go away if I stop asking questions?
He will leave the witness box.
Good. Then we can look at someone else. No further questions, Your Honor.
Very well. Mr. Latimer?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Rue, what took place on that train was bound to anger any African.
I think there has been a bit of a misunderstanding here. I am an African. It is my homeland.
I see. So you do not regard with regret the whole incident on that train?
Well, as things have eventuated, Ma was absolutely right. He's a tsotsi, a thug.
Yes. Very well, you may go and sit down.
And you discovered, Sergeant Beale, that the dead man was a Southwest African and that he was studying at the Colchester University.
Yes, sir.
Yes, now I think that on the same day, the day of the explosion, Saturday, the 4th of September, you went to the students' hostel at 46 Brussels Road, Colchester, where the dead student lived, and that you searched his room.
We did, sir.
And whilst you were there, did you see both the accused?
Yes, sir. Both Paget and Smith have rooms in the same hostel.
Yes, now you saw Paget first, I believe, in the communal sitting room downstairs.
Yes, sir. I asked him what he knew about Nakawa. Paget confirmed Nakawa was from Southwest Africa. He said he was on some kind of United Nations scholarship studying medicine.
Yes, now when you had searched Nakawa's room, had you found anything of interest to you?
Yes, sir. We found copies of a broadsheet called Namibia News.
Now, may he be shown Exhibit 4, please? Now, Sergeant, are those the broadsheets that you found in Nakawa's room?
Yes, sir.
Yes, now the latest issue is dated the 26th of August, 1976. It has the title 26th of August, 1976 to, as you were, 26th of August, 1966 to 1976. 10 years of armed struggle. Now, members of the jury, if you will look at the photocopies in front of you and glance through it, you will get an idea of its contents. 1. Reference to South Africa's occupation of Southwest Africa as illegal. 2. Death sentences on 2 SWAPO leaders. 3. Arrests and beatings. 4. Guerrilla operations, and so forth. So it would appear, Sergeant, that the dead student was a member of SWAPO. Now, did you put that suggestion to Paget?
Yes, sir. He said he'd seen letters for posting addressed to the SWAPO headquarters in London in Nakawa's handwriting.
I see. And was there any further conversation with Paget on that day?
Yes, sir. I asked him whether he was particularly friendly with Nakawa. He said he wasn't. I then asked him whether he had any particular interest in South Africa.
And what did he say to that?
He said he wasn't really interested in politics.
Really? And that was as far as the conversation went?
Yes, sir.
I see. Now, did you also see Smith on that same day at the hostel?
Yes, sir. I told him of the inquiries I was making. I said, were you involved with what Peter Nakawa was trying to do?
What did he say?
He replied, what would I want to get involved in a thing like that for?
Anything else?
Yes, sir. I said, does what's been going on in South Africa upset you? He replied, I'm always upset by what's going on in South Africa. I then said, nothing has happened recently to upset you especially. He replied, negative, the riots are just dandy as far as I'm concerned.
I see. So he began by saying that he had not been particularly upset by anything that had happened.
Yes, sir.
I see. Now, on Monday, the 6th of September, did you obtain a warrant and search the hostel?
Yes, sir, from top to bottom.
And did you find anything?
Yes, sir. In the rooms occupied by Paget and Smith.
Really? Now, what did you find in Paget's room?
A quantity of books, papers and photographs about South Africa.
Really? And yet, on the previous interview, Paget had affected to be a little concerned with South Africa.
Yes, sir.
I see. Now, may he be shown Exhibit 5, please? It is the file of papers and photographs. Now, Sergeant, does that file contain the documents and photographs found by you in Paget's room?
Yes, sir.
Officer, will you turn to pages 1 and 2? Now, these show photographs identical to the ones found on the dead student Nakawa.
Yes, sir. Enlarged versions, yes, sir.
The same mysterious persons. Is there going to be any evidence identifying them, Mr. Latimer?
Well, I'm afraid not, my lord. Their identities are a mystery. Now, officer, are there also in that file a number of air letters, all posted in South Africa, all in the same handwriting and sign stella, and all addressed to David Paget?
Yes, sir.
And we see that the letters all begin, Dear Henrik or Dear Mr. Witbooi.
Yes, sir.
Your case, Mr. Latimer, is that the accused Paget used the name Henrik Witbooi as some sort of a code, and that, of course, was the name mentioned by the dead student Nakawa just before he died.
Indeed, my lord, precisely. Now, officer, did you see Paget on that same day?
Yes, sir. I have notes of this, sir. I saw him at the hostel at 9 p.m. I said I was arresting him for conspiracy to cause an explosion and cautioned him. I then showed him the material we had taken from his room. I said to him, how do you account for all this? Yesterday you told me you weren't interested in politics. He said, they're not mine. They were left by the person who had the room before me. I said, who was that? He replied, a South African girl. I said, Stella? He said, yes. I said, was she your girlfriend? He replied, sort of. And then he said, I'm not saying any more until I've seen the solicitor.
I see, and then you terminated the interview?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, now, let us leave Paget and deal with Smith. Tell us what you found in his room.
Detonators, sir, and 2 passports, 1 American, 1 South African. It was only then I realized Smith was South African.
Yes, I see. Well, now, rather than handing the detonators, could you point them out to us, please?
Yes, sir, they're on the desk there, sir, in the plastic bag.
The plastic bag. That's it. That plastic bag, Exhibit 6. And the passports, Exhibits 7 and 8. Are those the ones that you found?
Yes, sir, both have the accused Smith's photograph in them, although in the South African one, his name is given as Jackson Teamer.
Yes, I see. Well, now, having found these things, did you see Smith again?
Yes, sir. The same day, I saw him when he returned to the hostel at 5 p.m. I told him I was arresting him and cautioned him. And then I said to him, I believe you travelled to Fulchester by train on the 30th of August. Mr. Rue was on that train, and I believe you met and talked with him. He replied, so what? I then said, I believe you told Peter Nakawa where to find Mr. Rue. I believe you and Peter Nakawa planned to blow up Mr. Rue and his family.
Did he make any reply?
No, sir.
I see. Now, did you then refer to an air letter?
Yes, sir. It was one I found in Paget's room. It's page 6 in the file, sir.
Yes, that's right. Now, members of the jury, would you please look at your copies of that letter? Officer, I believe that it is postmarked Cape Town, 15th of August, 1976, is it not?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now, members of the jury, I would remind you that the date of the explosion was on Saturday, the 4th of September, 1976. And you will also recall that this letter is one of those addressed to Paget from the person signing herself Stella, in which she addresses him as Henrik. Now, I will read you an extract from it. The police shot Joshua's little brother in June. I have written to tell him, but I know he won't have said anything to you, so I will. It happened on the 17th. The police were driving through Soweto, firing as they went. But there wasn't much to shoot at, as everybody was keeping off the streets, until Gacha jumped out as they passed and gave a black power salute with no more knowledge of its significance than if he had been repeating a swear word he'd heard older children use. They shot him dead and drove on without stopping. Now, Sergeant, did you show that passage to Smith?
Yes, sir. I then asked him, does this refer to you? He said, yes. I then said, Gacha was your brother, wasn't he? He replied, yes. I said, how old was he? He replied, shit man, he was 10. I noticed there were tears in his eyes, sir.
The cases in Fulchester are fictitious. The Queen against Paget and Smith will be resumed tomorrow in the Crown Court.
Detective Sergeant Beale, I believe you have made some inquiries into David Paget's background.
Yes, sir.
He's a law student in his second year at Fulchester University, aged 21 years.
Yes, sir.
And he has a clean record as far as the police are concerned.
Yes, sir. I would.
Now, except for those periods of the year when he's at the university here in Fulchester, he lives with his family in Sussex, where his father is in practice as a solicitor.
Yes, sir.
And it is his aim, is it not, to qualify and join his father's firm?
So I understand from his father. Yes, sir.
He's a keen sportsman.
Yes, sir. I understand he's a talented oarsman.
He's in the university boat.
Yes, sir.
In fact, he's more interested in sport than in politics.
Well, I don't know. That's what he's tried to make out.
Well, can you confirm this, Detective Sergeant, that he's not a member of any student organization, political or otherwise, except the university boat team?
That is true, yes, sir.
So what it amounts to is this, doesn't it, officer? Firstly, the fact that from April, he lived in the same hostel as Peter Nakawa and Joshua Smith.
That's one thing, yes, sir.
And the fact that you found these various photographs and papers in his room.
In his possession, yes, sir.
But there's nothing to show that these photographs belong to him, is there?
They were in his possession, yes, sir.
Well, let's just have a look at these photographs, shall we? On pages 7, 8, and 9. If you could just turn to those pages in your files, members of the jury. Page 7 first. You see the photograph?
Yes, sir.
And on the back, something is written, is it not?
Yes, sir. It's a waiter.
Is it suggested that that is the handwriting of young David Paget?
No, sir.
No. Could you turn to the photograph on page 8? And now, please, on page 9. They, likewise, are inscribed on the back in the same hand.
Yes, sir. Soweto Primary School and eviction of a coloured family under a Group Area Act.
Soweto. Is this the township which Mr. Rule likened to Paris?
With respect, my lord, I think he said that compared to many places in the African states, it was like Paris.
Yes. Yes, perhaps I am being a little unfair, but the comparison does appear strikingly inapt. Yes, I'm sorry, Mr. Lee.
My lord. So you don't claim that the handwriting on the back of any of these photographs is my client's?
No, sir. No, it looks more like that on the letters.
Precisely. The letters bearing the signature Stella, who we know from what Joshua Smith told you was a coloured girl called Stella Duplessis.
Yes, sir.
And you admit that she used to occupy the room my client was occupying at the time you searched?
Yes, sir. Paget said she was his girlfriend.
No, Detective Sergeant. You asked, is she your girlfriend? And he replied, sort of. That was your evidence in chief.
Well, it's the same thing, more or less.
It's not precisely the same thing, officer, you must concede.
I suppose you are right, Mr. Lee, and I am wrong, as you usually are.
Mr. Smith, are there any questions you wish to ask the officer?
Your Honor, can I take a look at those detonators? I've only seen them the once when he showed them to me.
Well, I'm not very keen on them being handled. Just come down and look at them, will you?
Sergeant Beale, why did you plant detonators in my room?
I did not.
Sergeant Beale, why did one of your men plant those detonators in my room?
They did not.
Sergeant Beale, why did some policeman who wasn't you and was not one of your men plant those detonators in my room?
No one planted them.
Are you lying to this court and jury, Sergeant Beale?
No.
Mr. Smith, if you've finished looking at the detonators, would you go back to your place?
Okay. Sergeant Beale, what have you got against me?
Nothing, personally, if that's what you mean.
Sergeant Beale, do you believe that black men are inferior to whites?
No.
Sergeant Beale, then why do you not call me sir when you speak to me? You call Mr. Lee, sir.
Yeah, he's a barrister.
Sergeant Beale, but am I not an educated man with a master's degree from the University of the West Indies in Jamaica and a doctorate at Philadelphia?
Mr. Smith, if you want the officer to call you sir, I'm sure he will. Just let's get on with it, shall we?
Okay. Sergeant Beale, you call me anything you like, right?
Right.
Sergeant Beale, you looked for fingerprints on those detonators.
We did.
Mine weren't there, were they?
No, there were none.
Not even those of Peter Nakawa, the
No,
dead
my lord.
student.
No.
Sergeant Beale, how do you know that Peter Nakawa didn't just happen to leave those detonators in my room?
I don't.
Well, Sergeant Beale, then, that's what happened if you didn't plant them, but I don't believe Peter would have been that careless. I say you planted them.
That is not true.
Sergeant Beale, you made up your mind. I was mixed up in all this when you heard I met that bore on the train.
No.
Didn't you? Sergeant Beale, you realized that your evidence was a bit thin and decided to dandy it up by planting those detonators in my room.
No.
Sergeant Beale, why are you trying to make out that I'm some kind of a secret agent?
I'm not.
And Sergeant Beale, why did you tell the court that I have 2 passports?
Mr. Smith, they are on the table. We can all see them.
Your Honor, that South African passport expired years ago. And so I had to have one from the U.S., and I applied for it as Joshua Smith. This is what they do in South Africa. When a black's got brains, they call him communist, put him on Robben Island, or drive him out. And that's what happened to me. So when my passport was expired, they won't renew it. So I can't get home or see my family again. Furthermore, many of their letters to me never arrive. Neither do many of mine to them. They're all opened by his police.
Yes, well, now we understand only your American passport is valid. The South African one has expired. Have you any further questions?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Lattimore?
No, my lord. Thank you, Sergeant. I call Nanny Rue. Mrs. Rue, you are the wife of Mr. Rue here,
Yes,
and you live together in Simonstown, South Africa.
yes.
Yes, but you were born in England.
Yes, I met my husband in Egypt during the war. We were both serving there.
Which service were you in?
I was a WAF, Pete was with the 8th Army.
Oh, I was with the 8th Army. To what battalion? I beg your pardon, Mr. Lattimore.
Quite right, my lord. And after the war, you married and went to South Africa.
No, I went to South Africa to sea, and then we married.
And your husband is a businessman?
Yes.
Yes, now I believe that you, your husband, and your daughter and your mother-in-law came to England for a holiday in June of this year.
We went to France first.
The riots had already begun before you left?
Yes.
Yes, and on the 30th of August, did you all take a train from London to Fulchester?
Yes, we were going to stay with my sister.
Yes, and you had lunch in the restaurant car on the train?
Yes.
And did your husband leave you ladies to drink your coffee and return alone to your compartments?
Yes, he was worried about the luggage.
Yes. Now, what happened when you three ladies returned to your compartments?
I'm afraid my mother-in-law refused to go into the compartment because Mr. Smith was there. You must understand, she's very old, a sort of Boer veteran. Her mother died in one of our concentration camps when she was tiny, and she was brought up by an uncle on the veldt. It was a very narrow sort of upbringing.
Yes, but Mrs. Rue, what I need to know is what was said.
Well, Pete said that Mr. Smith was a West Indian and not one of our Bantu. Then Ma said we should ask Mr. Smith for his passbook, and Pete explained about that. And then I'm afraid my daughter tried to help.
Your daughter, Stephanie?
Yes, I'm afraid she and Pete take after his mother. They have old-style Boer views.
Yes, but what did your daughter say?
She said Mr. Smith couldn't be a Bantu as he didn't smell.
You don't approve of your daughter talking like that?
No.
Why? Because it's untrue?
Oh, no, it's quite true. But it's better not to say these things, isn't it?
Yes, now, this was, of course, all spoken in Afrikaans.
Yes.
Now, I think it was you who suggested that Mr. Smith might just be asked if he'd mind going away, leaving the compartment, because of your mother-in-law's silly prejudices.
Yes, I was sure he would understand.
And your husband asked him to do that?
Yes. And Mr. Smith replied in Afrikaans. It was awful.
Well, what did Mr. Smith say?
Must I say?
Yes.
He said, "Look, Boer, why don't you go and do yourself?"
Then what?
Pete went for the guard. He suggested to Mr. Smith it would be better if he went, and he did.
Yes, now, did Mr. Smith say anything before he went?
Yes.
What?
Must I say?
Yes.
He said Stephanie was lusting after him.
Are you sure?
Yes.
I see. Now, were those the words he used?
No, but that's what he meant.
Yes, but what were the words?
Must I say it was disgusting?
Yes.
He said he was clearing off, but he didn't want Stephanie to be disappointed, and if she wanted to screw, he'd be a couple of compartments down the coach. He said it because he knew it was the one thing that would drive Pete really mad.
TV lawyers.
You see, Mrs. Rue, your husband, when he gave evidence, made no mention of Smith referring to your daughter.
Pete wouldn't be able to bring himself to repeat what Mr. Smith really said. It's too awful for him to contemplate, you understand. You see, a black with Stephanie.
Yes, I see. And you say that you saw Smith again that day, hanging about when you got a taxi.
Yes, he was there.
And he was close enough to hear the address given to the taxi.
Yes, I should think so.
And you're quite sure of what the student said just before he died?
It was quite clear. He said to Pete, "I missed you, Boer, but you won't escape when Henrik Witbooi comes."
Very well. Now, Mr. Lee.
Thank you, my lord. Mrs. Rue, your husband, as I understand it, adheres firmly to the traditional Afrikaner views and values.
Yes.
And you? Where do you stand?
I'm not quite sure. I don't agree with apartheid. My husband knows that. But you must understand that it would be impossible to change overnight. The Boers are a very independent, stubborn people. Traditionally, when they couldn't do what they wanted, they simply trekked off to find somewhere to live at liberty. Apartheid is another sort of mental great trek.
So, you don't agree with apartheid? You don't agree with your husband's views, and yet you continue to live in South Africa and with him?
Why? Shouldn't I?
You are loyal to your husband, even when, in your view, he is wrong.
I try to be loyal. My husband and the majority of Afrikaans are deeply Christian men. They sincerely believe that God made separate races, and it is therefore his wish they should so remain. They believe that their ancestors on the Great Trek were inspired by God. They see the survival of their people on the Great Trek, just a few men, women, and children in a vast, unknown land full of hostile natives, as being a sign from God to them. They believe they are chosen people. I may not agree with my husband's views, but I know he holds them sincerely and honestly, and so I respect them.
And you enjoy, along with the rest of the elite white minority, one of the highest standards of living in the world, at the expense of the Africans, the Asians, and the coloureds who have no personal rights or political rights.
What am I supposed to do? Leave Pete? Come back to England and live on social security? You try to make everything seem so...
Black and white, Mrs. Rue?
Yes, there is a lot politically wrong for Africans in South Africa. Apartheid produces some ridiculous results. White people injured by the roadside, dying because an ambulance for coloureds has been sent by mistake, or black people dying in hospital for want of blood because there's only white blood available. But whatever is wrong for the Africans, they enjoy a great many material benefits they would not have in an African state. They have education facilities. They have a higher standard of living there than elsewhere. The Bantustan's homelands are self-governing. Yes, and I'm afraid to say that when they're left to themselves, they don't work. Their farms produce a minute percentage of what they would produce if they were run by us. No, it's no good just looking at one side of the picture. Take the riots in Soweto. Now, many of the killings there were by the blacks themselves. They are very violent to each other. Soweto has 800 murders a year and more than 3,000 rapes. I'm sorry. Am I saying too much?
Not at all, Mrs. Rue. What it boils down to is this, doesn't it? That whatever your views, your loyalty to your husband is unswerving. Are you lying to support him now over what you claim you both heard the student say before he died?
I have taken my oath.
Are you lying for him now about Smith being near the taxi when you gave the driver your sister's address?
No.
You've explained to the court that Smith's suggestion that your daughter Stephanie might like to have sexual intercourse with him was calculated to drive your husband really mad. It was something he would regard with revulsion, and
Yes.
you. What did it make you feel towards Smith?
I understand him. My daughter had been talking about Bantus having a smell. Mr. Smith was very upset.
Are you telling the truth about the taxi business? Or are you lying out of vindictiveness?
I am not lying.
Very well, Mrs. Rue, thank you.
Mr. Smith?
Hi there again, Mrs. Rue.
Questions, Mr. Smith?
I just want to tell you how real sorry I am that I said those things. Tell me, has Stephanie got over the shock?
I hope you're not being facetious, Mr. Smith.
No, Your Honor. Mrs. Rue?
Yes, she has, thank you.
You admit that you said those things?
Yes, Your Honor.
I see. Any more questions?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Latimer?
I have no re-examination, my lord.
Very well. Thank you, Mrs. Ruth.
Would it be possible for my wife and I to go now, or must we remain here?
You may go unless Mr. Lee or Mr. Smith want you to stay. Mr. Lee?
No, I have no objections, my lord.
I want them here, Your Honor, just so they can hear what I've got to say.
That is not a good reason. And I shan't keep them here unless there is a possibility that some fresh matter may crop up.
I think that's highly possible, Your Honor.
Very well. I'm sorry, Mrs. Rue. You will have to stay. And you, Mr. Rue.
That is the case for the Crown, my lord.
Very well. Now, Mr. Lee.
I call my client. So, you're not interested in politics?
Yes, that's right.
Your father's in court in front of me.
Yes.
He's a country solicitor.
Yes, he is.
Tell my lord and the jury this. When you went up from school to university, did you have any idea how you would like to spend the rest of your life?
Yes. I wanted to qualify as a solicitor and then join my father.
And is that still what you'd like to do?
Yes.
Now, these photographs were found in your room at the hostel in Brussels Road. Are these photographs yours?
No. Stella left them.
And these photographs of Soweto were also found in your room. Are these photographs yours?
Stella left them behind.
And how about the rest of the papers that the police took from your room?
They were all Stella's.
Thank you. Who is Stella?
She's South African. She's coloured.
Do you use that word in the sense that the South African government use it? Half-caste?
Yes, my lord. She's actually very pale.
How old is she?
About 26.
My lord, was she at the university?
She used to be. She wasn't when I met her.
What was she doing then?
She was writing something or other, I think. I don't really know.
So how did you meet her?
She was friendly with a girl who was going out with someone else in the boat.
In the university boat team for which you rowed?
Yes.
And you became friends with her?
Yes.
And did you go out together?
Not really.
Well, either you did or you didn't.
We didn't. She didn't go out much.
So, when did you meet?
At the hostel.
Where you're now staying?
Yes.
Now, when the police interviewed you, you said she was your sort of girlfriend. Now, what did you mean?
Well, she wasn't really my girlfriend. I mean, I went out with other girls.
I see. You liked her, but you weren't especially keen on her.
Yes.
When did she leave the hostel?
About April, I think.
And was it then that you moved into her room?
Yes. I wasn't kind of getting on with the landlady I had.
I see. And where did Stella go?
South Africa.
Leaving a quantity of photographs and papers in your room?
Yes.
Did you take any great interest in them?
No. They were in the way, really. I put them all in a cardboard box.
And did you give them any further thought?
Not until the police mentioned them.
Now, when you went to visit Stella du Plessis, when she was staying at the hostel, was she alone, or was Peter Nakawa or Joshua Smith ever present?
She was on her own, usually, but I can remember their being there once or twice, for a while.
They all, of course, come from South Africa.
Yes.
And did they discuss South Africa when you were present?
Yes, I think so. I don't really remember.
You didn't take a great interest in such discussions?
Well, not really. I expect I was rather hoping they'd get it over with and then go.
Leaving you and Stella alone?
Yes.
Now, Peter Nakawa, the dead student, and Joshua Smith were both living at the hostel when you went to live there. How well did you know them?
Not particularly well. They weren't the only ones living there.
But did you, in fact, spend much time at the hostel?
Well, no, I virtually only went there to sleep.
Yes, would you give us some idea of your daily program?
What I do every day?
Yes, please.
I get up at 7, shave, clean my teeth, cycle down to the boat club for a workout, 100 press-ups or a circuit, and a 3-mile run, shower, breakfast. I go to lectures all morning, lunch, back to the boat club. We're usually on the water all afternoon, bath. Then I go to the library for a couple of hours, eat usually at the university, maybe go to a pub, then back to the hostel.
What time?
10:30 or 11 o'clock.
And what time do you go to sleep?
About 10:30 or 11 o'clock.
How long has this been your daily routine?
Well, virtually since I went up to the university and joined the boat club.
So you don't have much time for politics or anything else?
Not really.
In these letters we've seen from Stella du Plessis. She addresses you as Dear Henrik, or Dear Henrik Witbooi, or Dear Witbooi. Why?
I don't know. It was a name she called me.
Well, it sounds as if it belongs to somebody. Who?
I don't know.
But did you never ask her?
Yes?
Well, what did she say?
She wouldn't tell me. She just laughed.
But did you ask her why she wouldn't tell you?
Yes. She just said, ask no questions, you'll be told no lies.
Now, did you never talk about South Africa?
Yes. She told me quite a bit.
What, for example?
Well, her family and things, apartheid and that.
Well, did she agree with the South African government's policies?
No.
Did she ever say what apartheid had done to herself or her family?
Yes. She told me how they used to live in a nice area by the sea and that they'd all had to move out because the white people wanted to live there. I think it was Simonstown where Mr. and Mrs. Rue live.
Did you think that was wrong?
I suppose so. Yes.
I see. I'm sorry, Mr. Lee. I seem to have taken over the examination of your witness.
That's quite all right, my lord. The charge against you is one of conspiring to cause an explosion with intent to injury. Did you have any idea that Peter Nakawa possessed any kind of explosives or was planning to set off some kind of a bomb?
No idea whatsoever.
Did you have any discussions with Joshua Smith or Peter Nakawa about the setting off of a bomb?
None whatsoever.
The cases in Fulchester are fictitious. The Queen against Paget and Smith will be concluded tomorrow in the Crown Court.
Now, tell me, Mr. Paget, Stella du Plessis was not just a casual friend, she was a girlfriend.
Sort of, yes.
You know, I still don't understand what you mean by that, Paget. Did you, for example, ever take her home to meet your parents?
No.
But did you ever consider doing that?
I think I did, yes.
But why didn't you?
I didn't think they would really approve of her.
Two students at Fulchester University, David Paget and Joshua Smith, are on trial at the Crown Court for conspiring together and with another student to cause an explosion with intent to injure a South African family who was staying with relatives in Fulchester. The other student was killed when the bomb went off prematurely. Joshua Smith, a foreign-educated student, is conducting his own defence. The jury in this trial has been selected from members of the public whose names appear in the electoral register and who are eligible for jury service. The verdict they give will be decided upon during the course of this case on the evidence that they hear. David Paget is being cross-examined by Mr. Lattimore, counsel for the Crown, about his relationship with a coloured South African girl who was politically very militant.
Let us stop fencing about the problem, shall we? Was your relationship with her a sexual one?
Yes.
I mean, you kissed her, you slept with her.
Well, not slept, no.
Oh, no, of course not, because of your training schedule. But you did have sexual intercourse with her.
Yes.
Now, are you trying to imply that she just regarded you as a sex object?
No. I keep telling you, we liked each other very much.
I see. You just liked each other very much. And yet, she has kept writing to you at least one letter every month, has she not?
Yes.
Addressing you by a pet name, Henrik Witbooi, which you say you do not comprehend.
That's right.
I see. Now, she felt passionately about the policies of the South African government, did she not?
Yes.
Now, did you agree with her views?
Not really, no.
But do you not think that the universal condemnation of the South African government's policies is, in fact, justified?
No, I don't. I've got relatives in Rhodesia. I think a lot of it's hypocritical, if you ask me.
Really? But do you know, for example, that in South Africa, white people get paid more than coloured people or black people for doing exactly the same work? I mean, don't you think that that is wrong?
I suppose so.
But do you care about it?
Well, there's a lot wrong with the world, isn't there? Not just in South Africa. I mean, there are political prisoners imprisoned and tortured in most countries of the world, but there's not much I can do about it.
Yes, I see.
Now, will you look at a letter that Stella du Plessis wrote to you in May? It is on page 5 of the file. Have you got it?
Yes.
Now, will you read the 3rd paragraph?
The one beginning I was asked?
Yes, that's it.
I was asked if I could try starting some science teaching in Guguletu, the African township. I went and looked. They had nothing. The children even have to bring their own books and pencils, all from hopelessly inadequate wages. I said we'd need some equipment. After all, to teach science, you need at least a Bunsen burner. They told me that was all right, as the parents had saved up for that. I asked how much they'd saved. Answer, 50 rand. In other words, 25 pounds. I could have wept.
Well, did that not disturb you? I mean, when you read that, did you not care?
Yes. But you've got to be realistic. As I say, it's worse in many places. At least they're not starving.
I see. Well, now, will you look at the last line on that page? It reads, "You are right, Henrik. The whole stinking edifice will have to be razed to the ground." Now, it would appear from that you did share her views.
Not really.
Well, she plainly has the impression that you did. Now, how did that come about?
Well, I suppose I probably said I agreed with her.
You mean that you made out to her that you did care about the things she cared about her, and despite the fact that you are now telling us that you did not care about those things at all?
You're twisting everything. She knew I didn't really care as much about those things as she did.
Well, did you ever put to her the arguments that you have put to us? That there are worse things happening elsewhere?
I don't think so, no.
Why not?
I thought it would only upset her.
So
she used to say she despised people who thought like that.
I see. So you are now telling us that you concealed your true self from her because you felt that she would despise you if she knew what you were really like.
If you like, yes.
Right. Now, the colour bar. The best hotels, the best beaches, best buses, and so on, for whites only. No mixed marriages and no sexual relations between different races. Are you saying that you approve of that?
No.
Mixed couples being prosecuted under the Immorality Act, and any child of such a liaison being given to the darkest-looking parent and separated from the other one. Now, do you approve of that?
Of course not.
I see. Now, you know that recently African children who could barely understand Afrikaans were forced to be taught in schools in Afrikaans.
Yes, Stella told me that.
Well, did you think that that was wrong?
Yes. But if you're trying to suggest that that made me want to go and throw a bomb at someone, it didn't. That's been done in hundreds of countries before, including Wales, Scotland, and Ireland. That's nothing new. And at least they were getting some education, which is more than is happening in some parts of Africa.
I see. Well, now, tell me, Paget, if you were not interested in South African politics, why did you, in January 1976, go on the anti-apartheid march held at the university, the one protesting against the British companies paying poverty wages in South Africa?
Because Stella organised it. I couldn't stay away without upsetting her.
I see. So your presence on that march was, you say, another false pretense on your part?
I just don't see any point in upsetting people unnecessarily. Going on that march was no trouble to me.
Oh, come now, Paget. You've done very well so far, but the truth is that at least by the time she left the country, you entirely shared your mistress's opinion.
No.
Very well. Now, will you look at the document on page 10 of the file? Have you got it?
Yes.
Now, that slip of paper was found by the police in your desk diary when they searched your room. Now, do you agree that that is so?
Yes, it was.
Yes. Now, on it, it has got typewritten a list of names. Perhaps you will be good enough to read them.
Soweto, Alexandra, Mamelodi, Atteridgeville, Bophuthatswana, Malusi, Hendrina, Carltonville, Tembisa, Cattlehong, Sibusa, Middlesbrough, New Brighton, Mafeking, Langa, Nyanga, Guguletu.
Yes, now that is a list of African townships, is it not?
I suppose so. Soweto's on it and Guguletu.
Yes, but it is more than that in actual fact. It is, in fact, a list of townships where there was rioting last summer.
Well, certainly in Soweto and Guguletu, yes.
Well then, if you are not interested in South African politics, or indeed in politics at all, what then was that piece of paper doing in the diary on your desk?
It must be Stella's. If you look on the back, you'll see I've used it to write down a telephone number. I suppose it was just lying about and I picked it up.
Ah, yes, but there is more to it than that. If you look at the order in which the names appear, and I have checked, you will see that it follows the precise sequence in which those riots took place. Now, since Stella du Plessis left the country before the riots began, it must therefore have been typed after she had left. It must, in fact, have been typed by you.
Unless, Mr. Lattimore, Stella du Plessis already knew in April almost exactly where and when the riots would start.
Possibly, my lord, but with great respect, highly improbable. And in any event, even if it were true, I submit that Stella du Plessis could not conceivably have had any deep interest in David Paget unless he shared her views, which you still claim that you did not.
For the last time, no.
Now, Mr. Smith, you may go into the witness box and give evidence on oath and be subject to cross-examination, or you may make a statement from where you are not on oath, in which case you cannot be cross-examined. I need hardly say that evidence on oath and subject to cross-examination carries much more weight than an unsworn statement. The choice is entirely yours.
I guess I'll just make a statement, Your Honor. I've made some notes.
Very well.
Well, I guess there are 2 or 3 things we all want to know right away. What did Stella du Plessis really think of this thing here, and why did she call him Henrik Witbooi? Who is Henrik Witbooi? He's a hero, a resistance fighter like Robin Hood. He was like Alfred the Great and Robert the Bruce, the precursor of all great modern guerrilla leaders like Chairman Mao, the archetypal hero. He was the man who fought the Germans in Southwest Africa. And he is the inspiration to all the oppressed peoples of Namibia, to the young men like Peter Nakawa who will free them from his people, to all oppressed peoples of the world. In the Western world, you don't have men like Witbooi anymore. So you saying, how come Stella du Plessis called this thing Henrik Witbooi?
Mr. Smith, I will not have you referring to Paget in this way. You will do yourself no good by being impolite.
I stand rebuked, Your Honor, and I won't refer to Mr. Paget like that again. I expect you agree it would be nice if Stella was here to tell us what she thought and thinks of Mr. Paget and why she calls him Henrik Witbooi. But she won't be coming, folks, because she's just one of the 5,000 or more people arrested and detained without trial since the riots began. And I don't suppose she'd be feeling too well just now, because she will certainly have been beaten and tortured, because she will certainly have had electric currents pass through the more sensitive portions of her body by his police.
Mr. Smith, what we want to know about is the alleged conspiracy.
Will you not let me speak, Your Honor?
I am letting you speak. All I ask is that you shall speak to the point.
I will, Your Honor. So you're saying that if Stella du Plessis has been detained, she's in this resistance business pretty deep. And unless he's deep in it too, she could have had no truck with him. Not so. In my country, you don't have to do anything to end up inside or on Robben's Island. And since there's no need for you to be tried, there's no chance of your proving that you've done nothing. I've had it in my head to allow him to be swallowed up by your conspiracy laws. But I'm real soft. I'll tell you what Stella said to me one day. I said, Stella, man, what are you doing messing around with that guy? He behaves as though he just dropped out of the trees.
Mr. Smith.
This is a true conversation, Your Honor. A historical fact. And I've made a note here of exactly what she said. She said, Josh, I don't know. He's big, he's stupid, and he's English, but he's kind, and he's gentle. And somehow I need him. She said, it's really relaxing to be with someone who never reacts to anything. He doesn't know anything. She called him Henrik Witbooi because he's one of your original Birmingham-made, copper-bottomed anti-heroes. So there, you can let him go. What are you waiting for, man?
Mr. Smith, like you, he will stay here until the jury reaches its verdicts.
Honest, Your Honor, I never thought you'd let me go home early. But David, he couldn't hurt a fly.
Yes, well, let's just get on with it, shall we?
Okay. Now, I was in that train with them, as we all know. And what she said happened. But I didn't hang around listening for their address. That's all lies. Of course, I got off that train full of hatred. But I was hating him in my guts even before I set eyes on him. Because I hate them all. And I'll tell you why later. Now, I was telling Peter what he'd been saying on the train.
Peter Nakawa, the dead student?
Yes, Your Honor. I told Peter how this Boer had been excusing the torture in Ovamboland, excusing the death sentences passed on the Swapo men in Windhoek, excusing the fact that the South African lawyers appointed to defend the men had disclosed their evidence to the prosecution. And this got Peter real mad. I think I'll just explain a bit about Namibia so you'll understand why Peter got mad. Once upon a time, the people were free. Then the Germans came. Now, their policy was a policy of genocide. Henrik Witbooi fought them. Samuel Maharero fought them. Other people like them fought, but the people lost. In 1904 and 1905, 50,000 of the 80,000 Herero tribe died, and 10,000 of the 20,000 Nama. The Germans drove the women and children into the Kalahari Desert to die, and this gave the German farmers Lebensraum. Then came your Great War. South Africa invaded, and in 1919, Southwest Africa became a mandate of the League of Nations. Now, but do you know what Article 22 of the League of Nations said? It said the well-being and development of the people form a sacred trust of civilization. Geez, a sacred trust of civilization. And do you know how that trust has been fulfilled? His people, the trustees, have given the Namibians the benefit of apartheid. They've confined them to barren homelands so that the men are forced to go to the white areas to work. The men sign a contract for a fixed term, and it is a criminal offense to break it. Families are separated for months and years on end while they plunder the mineral wealth of the country, assisted by your British companies. But do you know, the United Nations has declared the South African regime's occupation of Namibia to be illegal. But they're still there, hoping to hang on forever, or at least as long as the minerals last. And they hang on by torture, beatings, detention, by brute force. And that's what made Peter Nakawa mad at him.
TV lawyers.
Now, my country. This is how their representative to the UN puts it. Our policy is not based on any concept of inferiority or superiority, but on the historical fact that different peoples differ in their loyalties, cultures, outlooks, and modes of life, and that they wish to retain them. Now, that's apartheid. That's the PR. But that's the excuse for allocating different races to different areas. But do you know how that land is allocated? 4 million whites have over 87% of the land, while 18 million blacks have less than 13%. You know what it means? It means that they have moved 2 million people in 10 years. It means that the best areas and places to live are taken from the blacks and the coloreds and given to the whites. So that Mr. and Mrs. Rue can live in Simonstown, which is a lovely place by the sea. Stella Duplessis and her family and people are moved out. District 6 by the Cape is too nice. Too bad for the coloreds who live there. The whites want it. They take the best of everything, and we get our so-called homelands. This is what they look like. The homelands. The Bantustans. Anybody can see that they are too poor to support us or too small. And so we must leave our wives and families and go on contract to live in camps outside white cities. This way, we can provide them with cheap labor. Break the contract, it is an offense. Speak out, you lose your pass. Back to the homelands you go. And your children starve. It's forced labor. It's slavery.
My lord, I have not intervened so far, but in my submission, all this political matter is totally irrelevant to the charge, and it is getting rather late.
I'm afraid I don't agree with you, Mr. Latimer. After all, the jury have to consider whether they think it is likely that the accused would have been involved. They must be given the opportunity to gauge the man and his motives.
Very well, my lord.
Yes, Mr. Smith.
Thank you, Your Honor. What else does apartheid mean? It means riches for whites, poverty wages for blacks. It means that if a black and a white do the same job, the white gets paid more. It means they get the best trains, houses, hotels, etc., etc. Oh, but think of the benefits you get from white rule, says Mrs. Ruth. Education, higher standard of living than in other African states. Donkey rides for your children at the zoo. Education. They spend £300 a year per white child on education, £18 a year per black child. Education for whites is free. Blacks have to pay. Higher living standards. The average income per year in the Bantu stat, our so-called homelands, is £50 a year. Yes, black children ride donkeys, all right. White children ride white ponies, and elephants as well.
My lord, do we have to stay here and listen to these lies, or can we go now?
Mr. Rue, it is not usual practice for witnesses to be released until the end of a trial. We shall not detain you long. Yes, Mr. Smith.
The rule of law, Your Honor, is supposed to be a pillar of justice. In South Africa, the rule of law is injustice. The Immorality Act makes loving a crime. The Group Areas Act allows the expropriation of non-white people's homes and lands. The Terrorism Act and the Suppression of Communism Act permit detention without trial. Punishment for activity deemed to be communist, which means anything the government doesn't like. And the Criminal Act allows witnesses to be detained indefinitely. Oh, don't you understand, say the Boers. We're in the vanguard of the world fight against communism. Why are you so ungrateful? We came to your aid in 1940. We're defending you now. I tell you, members of the jury, all they're defending are their heated swimming pools, their big houses, their slave society. Poor Boers, say the apologists. Poor Pete, says Mrs. Ruth. They can't help themselves. They believe their chosen people. It's their heritage. It's the great trek. They're trek Boers. I tell you, if you look at the history of South Africa in the last 100 years, you must be driven inescapably to the conclusion that somewhere on that great trek, out there on the veldt, one morning when in spanning the oxen, the Afrikaner and the oxen got muddled up, but they were so long cut off from civilization that when it finally reached them, no one noticed the mix-up, and the oxen have been calling themselves Boers ever since.
That will do, Mr. Smith. You may say something about the alleged conspiracy and nothing else. We have heard enough.
So, I have told you why Peter Nakawa got mad. Now, it is he that went to the taxi rank and sleuthed out where they were staying. Then he said, Josh, I'm going to blow him up. Are you coming? I said, no, Peter. And you shouldn't risk yourself for someone of no account. It's not SWAPO policy. But he went ahead. You think because his police shot my brother that I wanted to revenge myself? Truly, I never heard that my little brother was dead until after Peter's bomb went off. My little brother's death wouldn't have made much difference to me anyway. When there's so much blood already in the river, what's a few more pints from his small body? I tell you, I wouldn't risk myself in a skirmish with a bomb. When I fight, it'll be because it's the Battle of Waterloo.
You have finished?
Yes, Your Honor.
Let me just stress that the essence of this conspiracy is an agreement to do the unlawful act alleged. Let me lastly stress again that before you can convict, you must be satisfied beyond all reasonable doubt that the accused person was party to such an agreement, either with the other accused or with the dead student. If you are not so satisfied, you must, of course, bring in a verdict of not guilty. Will you now retire and consider your verdicts?
Just answer this question, yes or no. Have you reached verdicts upon which you are all agreed? Yes. Do you find the accused, David Paget, guilty or not guilty of conspiracy?
Not guilty.
Do you find the accused Joshua Smith guilty or not guilty of conspiracy?
Not guilty.
Do you find the accused Joshua Smith guilty or not guilty of unlawful possession of explosives?
Not guilty.
Are those the verdicts of you all?
They are.
This case has in many ways been an object lesson in the dangers of conspiracy charges. They can be conjured up out of a few documents or coincidences. It illustrates too, Paget, the dangers inherent in agreeing with someone purely for the sake of being agreeable. Very well, you are both free to go.
The court will rise.
The cases in Fulchester are fictitious. You can join us again when our cameras return to bring you another leading case in the Crown Court.